What's up, comic book enthusiasts? This is your boy RBG, hitting you guys up with more Marvel Spider-Man PS4 news. And if you read the title of this video, you know what I'm going to be talking about today. And that is the brief look we got of the Spider-Man Homecoming homemade suit from the latest pre-order trailer. Now, some of you guys have heard me already mention how the Iron Spider suit got leaked by Sony about a week ago. And I mentioned that the original idea might have been to release it a day prior to Infinity War's opening in theaters. So I guess I was kind of correct in my assumption. To be honest, I thought it was a little pointless to re-upload the trailers since there wasn't much to write home about. I mean, all there was to it was Spider-Man swinging around the streets of New York and interacting with civilians. But Insomniac played it smart and did something I don't think a lot of us were expecting, and that is give us an extended version. And if you pay close attention, you'll notice that Spider-Man is trying to choose which suit he wants to wear. But during that selection, he just so happens to slide by the homemade suit we've seen in Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, this has been one of the most requested suits I've seen for whatever reason. Like, it's not one that I particularly care too much about, but I can totally understand why there's so much interest in it, because it's probably one of the most cool looking homemade costumes Spidey's ever worn in any of his movies. I still remember the first time we had gotten word that Peter Parker would be wearing his iconic homemade suit in his MCU debut. It was a few years back, and a Twitter account surfaced that claimed to be run by Captain America Civil War's directors, the Russo brothers, which appeared to be teasing bits and pieces of the MCU Spider-Man costume which we hadn't seen at the time. While the Twitter account and the photos were never verified as authentic, someone uncovered a fan illustration from 2012 which, according to a quote-unquote source with access to the Spider-Man costume, hinted at what the costume would look like. And this was the photo that was circulating around the web. I just find it ironic that the official suit we got was damn near a beat-for-beat copy of the deviant art we got years back before Sony and Marvel Studios sealed their deal. Now, a lot of you guys were getting a little confused about this news because some of you were assuming that this was a part of the pre-order suits, but that's not really the case. Suits like the Noir Spider-Man, the homemade costume, or any of the other suits that hasn't received their own trailer are gonna be unlockable. As a matter of fact, even if you don't pre-order the game, you'll still be able to eventually play with the other pre-order bonus suits. You just have to unlock them yourselves. So yeah, they're basically just early access. You don't necessarily have to fork over any cash just to wear any of the suits. But anyways, most of the attention for the most part was on the Iron Spider suit, since a majority of the fans were still in the dark on which suit would be unveiled next. I think there were a lot of us who had preconceived notions on if we would get an idea of how the suits operate. And we have yet to see that, which is unfortunate because I think this will motivate more people to actually go out and pre-order the game. What we did get was a brief synopsis about how they went about implementing the suit into the game. Insomniac's community director James Stevenson took to PlayStation blogs to show his appreciation and talk about their collaboration with Marvel. I'm not going to read the article in its entirety, so we'll just go over the important parts. He says, and I quote, "Players who pre-order Marvel Spider-Man will get an early unlock of the Iron Spider suit inspired by Marvel's Avengers Infinity War. This was a big collaboration between Sony Interactive Entertainment, Insomniac, Marvel Games, and Marvel Studios. And while you may have glimpsed this pre-order video before, you haven't seen the new video we made to show it off. So the interesting thing to take from that bit is that this is a joint partnership between not 3 but 4 different entities. I know a lot of fans tend to get Marvel and Marvel Studios mixed up as one single brand, but they're actually separate subsidiaries under the Disney umbrella. And there are still some who are confused in regards to who actually owns the Spider-Man franchise, which is totally understandable. But this game didn't become a Sony exclusive because the franchise is owned by Sony. It became an exclusive because Marvel wanted to collaborate with Sony. Sony Entertainment only owns the film publishing rights to Spider-Man. Marvel, on the other hand, owns the media and merchandising, which includes TV shows, games, comics, clothes, etc. So yeah, I hope I've sort of cleared up some of that for you guys, because Xbox fans seem to think that Sony is deliberately holding Spider-Man hostage from other platforms. And don't think that this will be the only title that Marvel Games will be performing this type of business practice on. They're going to be going full speed ahead on getting top tier game developers to expand their Marvel game universe. But anyways, James pretty much confirms what I talked about earlier, that the pre-order suits are all early unlocks, so you don't have to worry about any of them stifling the game's replayability. But anyways, I'm going to continue on reading this article because this is where the interesting stuff kicks in. He continues on saying, and I quote, "Getting the opportunity to work with Marvel Games and Marvel Studios on this was another dream come true on this project. Seeing Spider-Man on the big screen in the MCU with his Iron Spider suit is something we are really excited about, And we knew Spider-Man fans around the world would want a chance to unlock our version of the Marvel's Avengers Infinity War inspired Iron Spider suit in the game. We were given access to the actual CG asset from the upcoming film to ensure that it was as true to the suit you'll see in the cinema as possible. So you heard it here, folks. The in-game render of the Iron Spider suit in Spider-Man PS4 is the actual CG model that was used in Avengers Infinity War. That bit of information just put a big smile on my face, like it explains why the suit looks so good and translates so well in the game. You see all of the little details and paneling throughout the costume, and the eyes light up as we've seen throughout all the various trailers and TV spots. If that doesn't make you happy, then there's just something wrong with you. But anyways, as I mentioned earlier, there's nothing beyond the visuals we got in the trailer. We don't know if Insomniac was able to program the arms in or not. I still stand on my assumption that the water arms will be used as a special attack, but we'll just have to wait and see. What I will say is that it was interesting seeing Spidey swing lower to the ground, because for all the footage we've gotten, we've seen him swing up pretty high. I'm wondering if we'll be able to perform some of the animations like running atop of vehicles or dragging Spidey's hand into the ground, similar to what we see in the footage. That'd be pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. But anyways, we still have a lot of costumes that have yet to be revealed. As a matter of fact, Insomniac has stated that there will be roughly around 24 suits in the game, and some of them will be from their original designs. I'm hoping to see more dank comedic costumes like the Fantastic Four suit where Peter has on their uniform with a brown paper bag over his head. And I know a lot of you guys are really hoping for some of the Raimi Spider-Man movie costumes, which I'm just gonna go ahead and assume will make it into the final version of the game. One thing that has me scratching my head though is if all the suits will feature special attacks or if they'll just serve for only cosmetic purposes. Like, I don't see the homemade suit having any special abilities whatsoever since it's so basic. I think this is like the second game it's been featured in since its inception in the movies. The last thing I saw it in was in a mobile game called Marvel Future Fight. In that game, the homemade suit had this sick finisher where Spider-Man would web up random cars and rubble and use them as wrecking balls on his enemies. So that was a pretty creative gimmick to give that particular version of the character. If anything, I think Insomniac will give the homemade costume some kind of web-based attack. If not that, then maybe he'll specialize with certain stats. Like he'll have more webbing compared to other suits, or his offense might be significantly higher. You know, something that will make it more distinctive. But anyways, the article goes on saying, and I quote, "In Marvel Spider-Man, having a variety of suits for players to use was a must-have for us. We looked across all the Spider-Man lore for inspiration, and in the final game you'll find suits inspired by comics and film, as well as completely original suits created by Insomniac and other artists. Each of the suits looks absolutely spectacular and we can't wait for you to see more of them. Beyond that, most suits will also feature a special suit power that you can use in-game. These powers let you do amazing things. While we aren't quite ready to show them just yet, I did want to mention a couple examples. The Spider-Punk suit lets you rock out with a guitar, doing an AoE attack that'll knock enemies off their feet. And the Iron Spider suit has a suit power that, well, you'll know it when you see it happen in Avengers Infinity War. So based off of that info, they're pretty much confirming what I said in my previous video regarding the Iron Spider's functions. And it's just that you'll have to wait and see what it does in the movie. They don't want to potentially risk spoiling it for you. Now the last thing I want to talk about are the Easter eggs we've seen so far. A few days ago, Game Informer gave us a list of all the references and Easter eggs they've seen in the game. Since we've been on the topic of suits and costumes, the first Easter egg I'd like to talk about is the epic poster in Peter Parker's apartment. If you look closely, you'll notice that it's highlighting Peter's short-lived career as a wrestler. Peter dressed in what is probably his first Spider-Man suit as he wrestled and defeated Joe the Crusher Hogan for income. In the comics, Hogan rarely goes full-on villain, but his life is affected by the early fight with Spider-Man. Now, I know this game sort of takes place in its own universe separate from the comics, but this poster pretty much gives me an indication of what lore they're mainly borrowing from. And that is the Ultimate Spider-Man comics, which I've been assuming for the longest. Like, I know it isn't based directly off of the Earth 1610 continuity, but they're taking a lot of things from it. The Miles Morales character is a byproduct of the Ultimate Marvel Universe. If you look at the designs on Crusher Hogan and Spider-Man on the poster, it looks like they've been ripped right out of the Ultimate Spider-Man comics. And one of the main indicators of this is the tattooed initials on Hogan's forehead and the funky looking mask and sweater Spidey is wearing on the poster. They just look like they've been fully realized in this game. I know there's a slim chance that this might happen, but I really hope we get that version of Spidey's homemade costume in the game as well. As far as all the other references we got, it's basically ones we've already seen, like the Avengers Tower, Doctor Strange's Sanctum of Sanctorum, and the Wakandan Embassy. So this is just a confirmation that we're dealing with a game that's gonna aid in expanding the Marvel Universe. Some of the other Easter eggs Insomniac found were car license plates that featured Stan Lee's popular catchphrase Excelsior on them, Norman Osborn re-election posters which you can see throughout some of the earlier trailers, a somewhat vague confirmation of Scorpion, Rhino, and the Vulture, since you'll be able to see news articles featuring complete photographs of them laying around Peter's apartment, the Empire State University college Peter will be attending with all its signs plastered around New York, and last but certainly not least, a small reference to Insomniac's previous work, Sunset Overdrive. The people at Game Informer mentioned that they saw these empty cans with the label Swilco Soda littered throughout Peter's apartment, which might be a referential cousin to Fizzco. For those who are unfamiliar with Sunset Overdrive, Fizzco was the world-destroying energy drink. So yeah, a lot of great time and attention is going into the game's Easter eggs and costumes. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. What do you think about this news? Are you excited about the Iron Spider and Homemade suits being in the game? And what are some other suits you would like to see making into the game? Get at me in the comment section below. As always, I ask that you like or dislike the video. It doesn't have to be a thumbs up, it can be a thumbs down. Any feedback is good feedback and will only help me improve on future content. But if you really enjoyed this video, it would help me out tremendously if you shared it on all the social media platforms with all your friends and followers. But anyways, this is your boy RBG signing out on another video. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.